Developing tonight, it is worse than we thought. We are now less than 30 days from the first of the year, and today the administration was forced to admit that Americans, many of whom think that they are insured thanks to healthcare.gov, will find out the hard way that they are not covered. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. There was a conference call with the Obamacare team and reporters just a few hours ago. The hot issue? Not how the website was working, but how many people are actually getting the coverage they think they have signed up for. We told you about this last night, and today the administration was pressed on this. There was a key moment in the call when one reporter tried to get one of the federal agencies to come clean on just how many errors there are. Now, these errors are leading to misinformation going to the insurance companies not knowing the identity of many of those who think that they have signed up, but in fact haven't signed up. The forms at issue are called 834s. Listen.
As that work continues, as we validate numbers and transactions with them, as we validate the assessment of the fixes that have been put in place, we will definitely report back to you on that progress and on what some of those numbers are over time.
So do you plan at some point to give us an 834 error rate?
I plan to report on you on our progress as we have that information.
Right, but I'm asking specifically about errors in the 834s. Will at some point you give us a measure of how many 834s the errors are affecting?
Yeah, it's the same information, Sarah. As soon as I am able to validate numbers, we'll certainly report on our progress.
So no. Bob Leshevsky is an insurance industry insider, president of Health Policy and Strategy Associates, and a former CEO of a group benefits insurer. Bob, good to see you. And once again, they won't give the numbers. And this is an important number to know because, in effect, what that reporter was trying to get at was how many people think they've enrolled when, in fact, they haven't.
Well, good for Sarah Cliff at the Washington Post for pressing on that. They don't know, I think, is the biggest problem. You know, right now we have two kinds of sort of missing enrollments out there. They're being called orphans and ghosts. It's such a mess. The orphans are the people the insurance companies have the enrollment for, but it's gobbledygook and they can't figure it out. The ghosts are the people that the insurance companies have not received an enrollment for. Obviously, the carriers don't know how many of those there are. We know there are lots of ghosts or people whose enrollment has never made it to the insurance companies because they've done some small sampling and they found out a very high rate of errors on that. So it's just an incredible mess right now.
So there are some untold number of Americans sitting at home right now, Bob, thinking, I am fine. I've gotten my insurance. I went through the website. I dealt with that hassle. And they will find out when they apply for coverage, when they show up for an operation, when they send their kids to the pediatrician in 2014, beginning in January, that they don't have coverage. They're going to find out the hard way.
Well, or unfortunately, it's sort of like when we have a blizzard here in Washington, D.C., and you can't get out of the airport. Everybody says, call the airport in advance and ask if your flight's on time. I feel like that reporter saying to people, call your insurance company, but it's going to be a mess there because you've got so many people trying to take care of their canceled policies. You got so many people trying to enroll by the end of the year. Now the people who thought they were enrolled really should check before the end of the year to see if they're enrolled.
Because that is the administration's answer, apparently, to this problem of its own making. Once again, these people who had no idea they were going to lose their policies, who were promised they would not lose their policies, lost them thanks to the law, and now had to go on a website that was a disaster to deal with, that they didn't want to deal with, but they made it through, now think they have coverage, may not have coverage. Those same people now have to sit on the line with the insurance companies for who knows how long trying to find out if their new coverage that they never wanted is real.
Yeah, and Megyn, you know, much has been made about how the administration has fixed the website. Politics again. They fixed the front end of the website because it was a political embarrassment to them. The back end of the website is a disaster. They can't pay the insurance companies. They haven't built the system to transfer the federal subsidy money to the insurance companies yet. They can't do a reconciliation via the computer because they haven't built the reconciliation system to figure out if the people that the government thinks are covered on the insurance company site. The news has been circulating in the insurance industry the last day or two that what the government wants to do now is to send the insurance companies in hard copy the lists of the people that they think are covered, so the company can compare in hard copy to who they have. Megan, some of these insurance companies are going to have 30, 40, 50,000 people insured, and they're going to have like 2 stacks of paper, and they're going to be expected to do a manual reconciliation. I mean, this is just, they have not built the back end of this website. This is like going into a bank business, opening up a bank, taking people's money, opening checking accounts, but you can't send a statement at the end of the month because, well, you haven't built that part of it yet. We don't need to send you a statement.
Well, what is the word among the insurers? You know, because the president and his team this week have had a happy face on saying, hey, healthcare.gov, it's solved, it's working great. Go on there and enjoy.
Yeah, well, and they were saying that they had the back end fixed. They were telling people in the call that we just heard a couple of days ago that the 834 problems were all but fixed, that there was one Social Security bug that they fixed, and 80% of it's fixed. Let me tell you something. The error rates on enrollments that came through on Monday have just as high an error rate as enrollments did 3 weeks ago.
So it's not fixed?
No. No, and heck, most of it isn't even built in the back end yet. No reconciliation system built in the back end. No ability to transfer the premiums to the insurance companies. Not built yet. No, it's not built. They haven't even started building some of this stuff.
All right, Bob, we'll check back in with you and
try
to get your take on what's actually happening in the insurance market. Obviously, the other critical end of this deal. Bob, thanks.